Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for returning. If you're new, then a huge welcome to you. I'm Liz, and today I'm going to be telling you about the time I cut my finger so badly it needed stitches. Let's go. Okay, side note just before I jump right into the story. You may notice like I'm in one spot one video and another spot the next video. I'm still trying to find like that sweet spot in terms of both lighting and not too distracting with background. So if you see a particular video and you're like, okay, that's like a really good background, not too distracting and amazing lighting, like let me know in the comments below so I can film there more often. But usually I just film wherever's the best light, and at the moment that is in my office. Anyway, so I hardly know where to start with the story. I guess, as with any story, some background helps. So this particular night, we had guests coming over for board games at 7:30, and I started cooking dinner around 6. I was making one of my favorites, chili con carne. Jesus, if you're listening, I'd like lots of that in heaven. I'd already cooked the mince and the onion, and I'd poured the red kidney beans in, and here comes the fun part. So some weeks before that, when we were cleaning and decluttering, we threw away what we thought was the bad can opener. Turns out it was the good one that we'd binned. Although how good was it if it had rust on it? So anyway, I clip it on to the can of tomatoes, and I've opened upwards of 100 cans in my life, so what happened next I was not expecting at all. I twisted it around the can, as you do. However, this particular can opener had a talent for not opening the can the whole way around. It would go a few spins and then stop, and so I'd reattach it. So there I was thinking and cut right round. As I'd done many times before, I reached in to lift it out. Usually when it's gone right round, it just floats there on the top, right? So next thing I know, my finger brushes the lid and there's blood going everywhere, all over the floor, and I said a few choice words and then ran to the bathroom sink to clean it out, because that was what, you've been taught in first aid. First thing you do is clean a wound. It was awful. The second that the pressure of the tissue or the flow of the water would stop, my finger would just start bleeding again. And since it didn't show signs of stopping, she taped a washcloth to my hand and rang our doctor's surgery, and they said that an A&E clinic would be better. So we managed to find one that was still open. Bear in mind that most clinics either close at like 5 or stop taking patients at like 5, and quite a few of them close at 8, and at this point it was like 7 o'clock, and so we called ahead, and the staff were lovely, and I paid a very small fee to be treated. Here in New Zealand, if you have an accident, then part of the fee is paid by the Accident Compensation Corporation, ACC, and so you don't have to like fork out a whole lot of money if you have an accident. So the wound was cleaned and then cleaned again and bandaged, and it's not just like water, it's like irrigation fluid, so like sodium chloride or something. And then I waited to see the doctor, nice young British lady. She took the bandage off, washed it again, so that was like third or fourth time it had been washed. And she decided that I could get away with just having it glued because there was no signs of neurovascular damage. So like the nerves were all intact and I hadn't got any tendons and whatnot. So my finger was washed again, manipulated and glued, and the nurse then bandaged and buddy taped my finger to the next one, so it was like this, and I thought that was great. My doctor, not so much. So I left with kind words and a tetanus shot just to be safe. I don't know if it was the injection or the combo of ice cream and fries, because I didn't feel like much to eat after that. But my tummy was not happy during the night, and although I didn't throw up, I did not feel well at all. Oh, that's so gross. And I took like Nausicam and it didn't work. It made me more nauseous. Yeah, turns out Nausicam's more for motion sickness. But yeah, it didn't work. Anyway, so the next morning I went to my own GP to talk about my migraines, which I'd been having. But he loves emergency medicine, and when he saw my finger and like the bandage, he was like, "Can I have a look?" And so we went around to the like nurses area, and as soon as he looked at it, he was like, "That's gonna need at least 3 stitches," and he couldn't find a single trace of the previous night's skin glow. I don't know what happened, if it just evaporated or if it just didn't take very well, but yeah, it couldn't even be found. So they injected local anesthesia into my finger. I can't remember the name of it. It ended with a cane, but it wasn't Michael. Something like lignocaine. It's what they use at the dentist. Anyway, so 10 minutes later, I could still feel it like stinging, and I said, "Is that normal?" He's like, "Not really." So I got 4 more shots, 1 on each side of my finger. Like, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Sorry, I wrote the whole story out so that my brain wouldn't be so scattered. So that worked, and my finger was like a dead weight. Unlike the previous night where I'd like closed my eyes and looked away and just felt so sick looking at it. I was drawn to watching. It was amazing. Like, there I was watching this suture needle go in through my skin and out the other side, and I couldn't feel a thing. It's brilliant. And the next week was very long and very painful, and my dressings were changed every couple of days to check for infection. And of course, you know, it's a finger, it doesn't stay still, so they come undone a bit and get ready, and you get food stains on and whatnot. So there was no infection, and I couldn't get it wet, so I had to wash or sanitize 1.5 hands. So I could get the whole of this hand wet, but I could only get like this half of my hand wet. So I'd like I'd either squeeze it onto here, or I'd squeeze it onto like this half, and then just like rub the half of the hand and like underneath the dressing. It was really awkward. And of course, showering required cling film and tape, and basically I had to treat it like a broken arm. And it burned and ached, and there's still a scar. Right there. But I'm so glad that I got stitches. Getting them out wasn't so fun. I had a panic attack just beforehand because I didn't know what it was going to be like. But I think if it wasn't for the stitches, I don't think it would have healed so beautifully. And I mean, I remember that incident every time I look at my fingers. I'm very careful now. And I guess that's the moral of the story, is don't use your fingers to lift the lid off a can. Yeah, so see you on Monday. I haven't decided if it'll be a cleaning video or a day in the life, but I look forward to it either way. Bye.